Hi, everyone. This is Michelle Gramoglia, the President and CEO here at Woodland Pond, and this is my weekly address for a Tuesday. Today is Tuesday, June 10th, 2025. I would like to, we got a little bit more serious topics today. We have some calendar items. We have some other notable things to talk about, but I want to just thank the folks that have kept the brevity and the levity and the smiling going, despite the fact that what's coming across on our news and other things may not be the most settling thing. So uh, this says the wayward signage directions to the shredding that was listed in the Chanticleer will misdirect us to Michelle's house for a bingo party with outrageous prices. So, bingo party at my house. And then the next was I thought that it was a crocodile in my bathtub, but it was only an alligator. So, thank you and keep these coming. There were no other rumors or suggestions in the box this week. And as always, I will continue to update those as we go. I want to touch on a couple of things. Yesterday, many of you that are interested in this topic in particular, will have heard that the Medical Aid in Dying Act that has been put in front of the New York State Legislature has now passed both houses. And the next step will be for that to go to the governor's desk. I have been stopped and emailed and phone called in terms of residents asking me, what is Woodland Pond going to do to advance the agenda on this? And as we're still continuing to kind of navigate what Woodland Pond can and cannot do from legal counsel, and I'll talk about that in a second, right now, Woodland Pond is not going to do anything in an official capacity, but certainly I am very, very aware that there are a lot of proponents for the MAID bill here at Woodland Pond. And what I would encourage you to do is to certainly advocate for this on an individual basis if this is something that you're interested in. I know that there's no historical definitive answer from Kathy Hochul about which way she will go in terms of ratifying this bill or not. But I guess we will find out in the short term here. One thing I will share is that in anticipation of this happening, I have instructed my team to really in earnest be prepared to be compliant with this law should it go into effect. And what that means from a Woodland Pond perspective is we need to develop policies and procedures in our skilled nursing unit, first and foremost, that reflect the requirements of the law and the any other regulations that would apply in these cases to those residents in skilled nursing. And there are some nuances in the law that we need to just, operationalize. It also requires that we, from a human resources perspective, understand very clearly what our responsibilities are and what the rights of the employees are in terms of refusing or opting not to participate in a MAID-based healthcare treatment or decision. Because certainly, although there does seem to be a bit of support for this, not everyone is comfortable with it, and some people are religiously opposed to this. So we do need to allow for provisions for staff to not participate if this is something that they are opposed to. Obviously, we need to make sure that we have adequate amount of providers to carry out your wishes if they have been medically ordered and all of the requirements are met. So we're working through some of those nuances. The way it would work in skilled nursing, because the primary care physician is our medical staff or are our medical staff members, it is my belief that the entirety of this can be accommodated within Woodland Pond without needing a third party, but that is my current belief. That is not 100% firm yet. The way it would work in assisted living, as we currently understand it, again, all subject to change, is that there are two medical providers that are needed to sign off on this, as I understand this. And each resident in assisted living in Garden View does have a primary care physician on record that we routinely work with. Theoretically, that would be one of the doctors. We would be working with the families, with the resident on this. Obviously, the resident has to have capacity under the New York State MAID bill as it's written. So the resident themselves will largely be driving this. It's very important as part of this bill that they have autonomy and agency over their own decision making. But at any rate, we would help the resident to identify and secure the number of requisite providers to establish the approvals. And then we would facilitate this as we would any other physician's order. In independent living, we do not have medical providers on staff, nor do we necessarily have any relationship with your medical providers on a one-on-one basis. So we will definitely help you navigate this. I anticipate that very quickly after the bill becomes ratified, if that's the way that it goes, that there will be providers that come out either for or against this. And as Liz Elliott, who is our wellness nurse, was explaining to our leadership team yesterday, she has extensive experience with a similar bill in California. And it's been her experience that there are a good number of physicians that are unwilling to write the orders for this, even though it is under the law, using the provision of the fact of the Hippocratic Oath, where the doctors is first do no harm. So some see conflict in that. So back to the point, I believe that pretty quickly we will start to see a list of those doctors that are willing to participate in MAID and those that aren't. And as always, we want to be a resource to the residents, and we want to make sure that you have this information handy. So we will start to gather that as that information comes forward. So there's more to come on this. We don't know an effective date. It all has to go through the governor's approval in order to be ratified. But this is more momentum than this bill has had in New York State history. And again, I know that there are a lot of proponents here at Woodland Pond, and certainly we will comply with the law if and when it is ratified. We had a couple of things related to weather-related items. And it's just a reminder that if you see anything that concerns you, we had some reports of washouts on the trail, but it didn't come from residents. It came from a staff member that just happened to be doing something else for us on the maintenance side of things. We're not always in all of these places. And certainly we want to attend to these things. So if you see anything like this, please, please, please report it. That's the only way that we will be able to be sure that we can take care of those items. And we don't want to have washouts on the trail or any other, challenged conditions because of weather or because of anything else. So please do report those to us. We are going to be phasing out business reply envelopes with our bills starting July 1st. And now this only applies to those people that mail in a payment. So generally it's for family members. But the issue is we have had a year's worth of enormous frustration with the New Paltz post office and the postmaster. We have tried to resolve this repeatedly. It is very routine that a family member will say that they mailed in a check in a business reply envelope for the monthly service fee on X date, and we still haven't received it 6 weeks later. Two of our staff members, including Christy Battistoni, our director of finance, went to the postmaster today to try to flush this out once and for all. It was a very frustrating meeting. She was not well received. We have had some other concerns with that post office. And so we will be phasing those out. You will receive a notification in your monthly service fee bill indicating that in July. So if you are someone that mails in the payment, you will need to just do a regularly stamped envelope, or what many people do now is they set it up as a payment through the bank. If you need information on that, you can contact Christy Battistoni, our Director of Finance. You can find her contact information on our website, or you can just call concierge and you can be put through and we can get you situated with that. But it's not working. We met with the Welcome Committee this morning to announce something that I think some of you have started to hear, which is really fantastic news. And we wanted to meet with the Welcome Committee before we got the official notice out. But we have made an offer to a licensed clinical social worker for independent living. And we did share her resume with the Welcome Committee. For the purposes of this video, which does get displayed publicly, and because she hasn't quite started yet, I'm not going to share her name, but it is someone that is known to Woodland Pond, has been doing private counseling with residents for about a year or so, is just going to be an excellent fit. And her primary responsibility, she's going to report to Sarah Leonard, our Director of Resident Services. Her primary responsibility is going to be assisting our team with residents that are making transitions into Woodland Pond. And of course, the Welcome Committee was thrilled to hear this because as much as they enjoy the welcoming of the residents and helping them figure out, what life is all about at Woodland Pond, we all recognize that there is a significant psychosocial element to transitions, and particularly the move into Woodland Pond. And this is something that Woodland Pond wants to invest in. Initially, it will be part-time, 3 days a week. But with the discussion that we had with this provider, there is definitely the possibility for this to be full-time if it feels like Woodland Pond needs it, and if this person can fulfill that role. There are additional responsibilities that this person will have, things like being able to respond if there's a particular incident where a resident is going through something particularly emotional or unsettling or needs that psychosocial support here in independent living. We can deploy this person to provide support. She can make referrals for a more formal counseling program for you. She will not be doing serial counseling. In other words, she won't, take on a session with an individual resident and work with them for 6 weeks. But she will definitely be able to make referrals for those kinds of things, and she will help you find counselors that accept Medicare, which is fantastic. She's going to be a great support for Sarah, and she's going to work very closely with Liz. She will be part of the process for the approval of potential residents, particularly if we have a concern about any kind of a mental or behavioral health diagnosis. It's just going to be fantastic. So we cannot wait to welcome her. She will be starting probably late July, early August. And eventually, once we stop with the chessboard of offices, she will eventually sit next to Sarah. So more to come on that, but we were thrilled to be able to announce that this morning, something that we've been hoping for from a mental health and wellness committee perspective, and certainly the welcoming committee. So we're very, very excited about that. Couple of calendar items. Tonight we have Fred and Joe's Night Theater Night presentation. This is an evening of romantic comedies, and we will have a recurring guest star. Deborah Moore will be joining them. And please do sign up at concierge so that you make sure you get a seat. Thursday at 3:30 in the pub, the complimentary happy hour will be there to celebrate Pride Month. So please join us. Everyone's welcome. And next Monday at 3 p.m. in the PAC, there is another Pride Month program, which is a Straight Allies panel discussion with several Woodland Pond residents. Very, very important for everyone to understand that any activity that we have on campus is for everyone. Great opportunities for residents to understand different things that they may not be personally familiar with. I think the fact that we're having a Straight Allies panel discussion for those members of our community and the larger community that are part of the LGBTQIA+ community, how the Straight Allies support them, how they view their relationships, ask questions, answer questions. It'll be great. So please do feel like you can immerse yourself in any of these things. The last thing I just wanted to touch on, because it came up at Residents Council last week, and it's certainly something that is being kind of flushed through our exec team, the Residents Council, a group of residents that are not on the Residents Council, the board, is how Woodland Pond adjudicates requests for different activities, speakers, and so forth on our campus. And we have been sending out a series of information to try to set the foundation for those that are inquiring about how we come to the conclusions about these kinds of things. It's clearly a sensitive subject for some people. Some of you don't care at all, but those that do care really care. And so in the spirit of transparency and collaboration, we are absolutely willing and have demonstrated that in questions where we have gotten legal counsel advice, we've had a couple of situations where residents have asked us to get a second opinion, and we have done so, requested the second opinions. And as we get these first opinions in and second opinions, we have absolutely no problem sharing them. It's really good for everyone to be on the same page and just understand how we come to the conclusions that we do. Ultimately, it is the exec team and the Woodland Pond board that have the fiduciary responsibility to protect Woodland Pond and our mission, which is to be a top-notch senior living provider, while also enriching the lives of the residents. But the primary mission is protecting the community, because if we protect the community, we protect the residents. So how do we do that? We get legal counsel advice. As I've said several times, I'm not a lawyer. No one on my staff is. No one on the board is. And we don't like to play one on TV. But we can certainly spend the funds to get counsel and second opinions, and then share those with the residents as they come up. So we are continuing to work through this. We understand your perspective for those that are interested in this. And we are committed to continuing this conversation. So more to come on that, but wanted to touch on it because it did come up at the Residents Council a week ago. Last but not least, we have heard very little in terms of whether or not folks have a strong opinion about me continuing the weekly addresses. Those people that I did hear from have indicated that this is an attractive part or something that they look forward to. Great place to get information. So what we're going to do is we're going to continue them. What I'd like you to do is continue to give me feedback in terms of what would be helpful, what kinds of things you'd like to hear about, things you wouldn't like to hear about, and just keep the dialogue going so that this is as valuable for you as it can be. That is all for today. I hope you have a great day, and it is 12:30, so we didn't do too bad, and I will see you next week.